So we in 2 Kings 17 and 16. And they left all the commandments of the Most High, their power, and made them molten images, even 2 calves. See that? Even 2 calves. And made a grove and worship all the host of heaven, stars, the moon, the sun. Worship all the host of heaven and serve Baal. Now the Most High told us in Jeremiah 10 and 2. Go there. Hold that. Go to Jeremiah 10 and 2. This is over and over again. We got to keep saying the same thing over and over again. Hear ye the word of which the Most High speaketh unto you, O house of Israel, O family of Israel. Thus said the Most High, learn not the way of the heathen. These other nations outside of the 12 tribes of Israel. And be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. You see? So then it goes on to talk about Christmas, a Christmas tree and so forth, what they do during the time of Christmas. Going back to 2 Kings 17, verse 17. We serve Baal instead of the Most High, Canaanite God. And they caused their sons and their daughters to pass through the fire and use divination and enchantments and sold themselves to do evil in the sight of the Most High to provoke him to anger. See? And they burned their sons and their daughters through the fire, represent Molech, the idol Molech. Therefore, verse 18, therefore the Most High was very angry with Israel and removed them out of his sight. There was none left but the tribe of Judah only. See, got rid of the northern tribes. That's what we just read about Salmanassar coming and getting them, king of Assyria. Also, Judah kept not the commandments of the Most High, their power, but walked in the statutes of Israel, which they made. Seeing what the Most High did here, southern tribe Judah did the same thing. And the Most High rejected all the seed of Israel and afflicted them and delivered them into the hand of spoilers until he had cast them out of his sight. Get out of my sight. Get away from me. Cast them out of his sight. For he rent Israel from the house of David, from the southern tribes. We was all one nation of 12 tribes, but King Solomon did what he did, and Moses said he was going to split the kingdom during his son Jeroboam's reign. Say, for he rent Israel from the house of David, which Judah had was the head tribe over all 12 tribes. And they made Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, king. And Jeroboam drave Israel from following the Most High and made them sin a great sin. I mean, we had already made a calf when Moses went up to get the commandments. We made that golden calf. And when Moses came down, he grinded it up in the powder and put it in the water and made them drink it. So they know about that story. I know about it. You know about it. And here you're going to make 2 calves. See, this is who brought us out of Egypt. For the children of Israel walked in all the sins of Jeroboam, which he did. They departed not from them until the Most High removed Israel out of his sight, as he had said by all his prophets, all his servants, the prophets. So was Israel carried away out of their own land to Assyria unto this day. See. And the king of Assyria brought men from Babylon, these Ethiopians, Cushites, Babylonians, and from Cuthah, and from Avah, and from Hamath, and from Sepharvaim, and placed them in the cities of Samaria instead of the children of Israel. So he put these Ethiopians in the northern kingdom of Israel, right? And they possessed Samaria. This is northern Israel. And dwelt in the cities thereof. So he put the Ethiopians in the cities of the northern tribes where they were at. And so it was at the beginning of their dwelling there, when he brought them there. Remember, all the gods of the nations are idols. I can't say it enough. Psalms 96 and 5. Keep that in mind, because a lot of y'all, you're dealing with someone that's not in the spirit with the Most High to understand spiritual things, what this word says and how you got to operate as the word says. They are Gentiles too. They heathens too. I did a lesson on among the Gentiles, among the heathen, among the nations. And we heathens too. Two-thirds of our people, I mean, don't care however you look at it. They heathens too, because they follow the way of the heathen. How you not, like I say, you walk like a duck, you quack like a duck, you a duck, even though you're a chicken. You're an Israelite, but you act like a Gentile, so what are you? Are you an Israelite or you a Gentile? You a Gentile. Because most of our people say what? They not Israelites. No, the Jews killed Christ. Oh, no. He came to his own received him not. But they don't read the next verse. He said, but as many as received him, gave he power. That's spiritual power to become the sons of the Most High, even to them that believe on Bahasham Mashiach Yahushua, in the name of the anointed Savior. That's how we receive that power from the Most High. Understand, overstand that. They don't know that. They just regurgitating what, just like they are here. Leaders is off, people off, following the same suit. And the one that's righteous had to go down with the ones that's wicked. So he done brought the Ethiopian in the land of northern part of Israel, right? And so it was, verse 25, so it was at the beginning of their dwelling there that they feared not the Most High. Therefore the Most High sent lions. The Most High sent lions among them, which slew some of them. So these lions, Most High sent lions in there to kill them. That's his land that he loved. He loved that land. He sent lions to kill them. To go in there and kill them. That's why you're not going to be in that land of Israel and not trying to observe the Most High's Sabbath and observe his laws one way or another. They better be intermixed somewhere in there. Listen, go to, hold that, get 2nd Ezra 5. Let's look at what the Most High loved. In verse 23, it said, O Most High, that beareth rule of every wood of the earth, and of all the trees thereof, thou hast chosen thee one only vine. That's the grapevine. And of all lands of the whole world, thou hast chosen thee one pit. And of all the flowers thereof one lily. He like the land of Israel, that all the lands of the world, thou hast chosen thee one pit. That's the land of Israel. And of all the flowers thereof one lily. He loved the lily. And of all the depths of the sea, thou hast filled thee one river. That's the Jordan. And of all builded cities, thou hast hallowed Zion unto this thyself. And of all the fowls that are created, thou hast named thee one dove. He loved the dove. And of all the cattle that are made, thou hast provided thee one sheep. He loved the sheep. And among all the multitude of peoples, thou hast gotten thee one people. Gotten them one people. Thou gavest a law that is approved of all. See? Excuse me. And among all the multitude of peoples thou hast given thee one people. And unto this people, who are the 12 tribes of Israel, whom thou lovest, so you don't see where he loved anybody else, whom he loveth, thou gavest a law that is approved of all. It's approved of all, whether now or later, but you're going to find out that his law going to stand. That's why Mashiach coming to judge and make war. He going to beat every nation. He going to smite the nations, kill the nations, and he going to rule them with a rod of iron. Because be a remnant of all nations that's going to be redeemed to work in the kingdom. And to continue to be able to learn of the Most High. Because if you don't follow what it say do, he say ain't going to be no blessings to you. So if no blessing, what you think going to happen to you? Say, kingdom, the nation and kingdom that will not serve him shall perish. Yeah, those nations shall be utterly wasted. So now, since they want to bring their little gods that they was following in the lands that Salmanessar got them, the king of Assyria got them from and brought them into the land of northern Israel. Verse 25, and so it was at the beginning of their dwelling there that they feared not the Most High. Therefore the Most High sent lions among them, which slew some of them. Wherefore they spake to the king of Syria, saying, the nations which thou hast removed and placed in the cities of Samaria, you got to understand how the Most High feel. That's why I say you got to think about the Most High on this lesson. Now, the northern tribes had already made 2 calves and say, this is your power. They made 2 calves. Now, the Most High had Salmanessar put these Ethiopians in that land, and they come with their idols. So you know. That's why he had lions come and eat them up. Y'all understand and understand, I hope, how we have disrespected the Most High over and over and over again. Why he said all the sinners, those that break his laws of his people, the Israelites, gonna die by the sword. That think the evil not gonna get them. He said first and foremost, they gonna die by the sword. He gonna kill them. Well, it behooves you to try to learn his laws. Know not the matter of the power of the land. So these people that came in there, they didn't know the power of the land. Just like a lot of you don't know the power of the Most High. You better know him. You better know Hamashiach Yahushua, who said, I and my Father are one. So you ain't reading this here and thinking that Hamashiach Yahushua is not here. He's right here. Angel of the Most High, Spirit of the Most High. You say the people you put in that land of Samaria, they don't know the Most High. The matter of the power of the land. Hear that? Remember, that's that pit that he loved. Therefore he have sent lions among them, and behold, they slay them, because they know not the matter of the power of the land. Then the king of Assyria commanded, saying, carry thither one of the priests whom ye brought from thence, and let them go and dwell there, and let them teach them the matter of the power of the land. Then one of the priests whom they had carried away from Samaria came and dwelt in Bethel, and taught them how they should fear the Most High. Howbeit, every nation made gods, idols of their own, and put them in the houses of the high places which the Samaritans had made, every nation in their cities wherein they dwelt. And the men of Babylon made Sukkah, Benath, and the men of Cush made Negal, and the men of Hamath made Ashima, and the Evites made Nibhaz and Tarkach, and the Sevarvites burnt their children in fire to Adrimelech and Anamelech, the gods of Sepharvaim. See all these different gods? So they feared the Most High and made unto themselves of the lowest of them priests of the high places, which sacrificed for them in the houses of the high places. They feared the Most High and served their own gods, after the manner of the nations whom they carried away from thence. Unto this day they do after the former manners. They fear not the Most High, neither do they after their statutes, or after their ordinances, or after the law and commandment which the Most High commanded the children of Jacob, whom he named Israel, with whom the Most High had made a covenant, contrary agreement, and charged them, saying, ye shall not fear other gods, nor bow yourselves to them, nor serve them, nor sacrifice to them. But the Most High, who brought you up out of the land of Egypt with great power and a stretched out arm, him shall you fear, and him shall you worship, and to him shall you do sacrifice. And the statutes and the ordinances and the law and the commandment which he wrote for you, hear that? Read it again. And the statutes and the ordinances and the law and the commandments which he, who is the Most High, wrote for you, wrote for we the children of Israel, ye shall observe to do forevermore, and ye shall not fear other gods. In the covenant, see, the Most High wrote this. That's why y'all say y'all ain't under the law, y'all tell the Most High I don't have to do what you say. You ain't believe in him. And the covenant that I have made with you, ye shall not forget. Neither shall ye fear other gods, but the Most High your power ye shall fear. And he shall deliver you out of the hand of all your enemies. He told us this. All you got to do is follow my rules and regulations. Y'all know about rules and regulations. Just follow my rules and regulations. And I'm going to deliver you out of the hand of all your enemies. Howbeit, they did not hearken, they ain't listen, but they did after their former manner. So these nations feared the Most High and served their graven images, both their children and their children's children. As did their fathers, so do they unto this day. See? So these are the things that you're looking at that we subject to. That's why we're going over it, to be able to look at, man, why are we caught up in following the way of the heathen? You know about civil religion, you know what I mean? Like, this is what a lot of us are not aware of. And let me give you an example. Spirit is brought. Let me give you an example. Go to First Maccabees, first chapter. First Maccabees. This is in between the book of Malachi and Matthew. When you go to the last prophet, we started off with the last prophet Malachi, the 4th chapter. And once the 6th verse is over, then you turn the page, you got a blank page. And when you're in Malachi, you're in the Persian and Mede Empire. But when you get to Matthew, you're in the Roman Empire. So the Protestants took out the Apocrypha. And that's what should be here. But it's in the original King James 611 Bible. So let's go to First Maccabees, the first book of the Maccabees. And we're going to get right to the point, because this is where it tells you that Alexander the Greek took down the Persian Mede Empire. Then he died after ruling 12 years, from 20 to 32 years old. And this wicked king came in, Antiochus Epiphanes, wicked Edomite king, or so-called white man, as the king. Let's go down to verse 41. Let's look at what he did. To show you how this is civil religion. Make you think. It says, moreover, King Antiochus, this is the Greek, this is so-called white man's empire. Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people. Sound like one? Sound like New World Order to me. Everybody was one people, right? Listen, everyone should leave his laws. So all the heathen agreed according to his commandment, the commandment of the king. All these other nations outside the 12 tribes of Israel agreed with this so-called Edomite or white king, so-called white, because they're red, different shades of red. But he was Edomite. And everyone should lead his laws. What laws do the heathen have today? So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king. Yeah, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion. This civil religion right here. An example of it. They consented to his religion. And sacrificed unto idols and profaned the Sabbath. See? They didn't have the laws. The Most High only gave the laws to us. Let's get that right quick. Go to Psalms 147, 19 and 20. Psalms 147, 19 and 20. Psalm 147, 19. He showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgment unto Israel. To we the Israelites. What did he say? He hath not dealt so with any nation. And as for his judgments, the punishments for breaking the Most High's laws, they have not known them. Praise ye the Most High. So he only showed his word unto the Israelites. We the Israelites. Nobody else. That's why it says, going back to the Greek Empire, the so-called white man's first empire. Verse 43 said, yeah, you want everybody to leave their laws and be one people, right? Verse 43, yeah, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion, see, this civil religion, and sacrificed unto idols and profaned the Sabbath, as he wanted them to do. For the king had sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem, where we were at, and the cities of Judah, that they should follow the strange laws of the land. These are strange laws of the land. And forbid burnt offerings and sacrifice and drink offerings in the temple, and that they should profane the Sabbaths and festival days, the holy convocations, and the Sabbaths, the weekly Sabbaths. Profane them, right? And pollute the sanctuary and holy people. Now, profane, that reminds me of who's profane, the Bible says. He is an Edomite, but who's profane? Go to Hebrews. I believe it's 12 and 16. Who the Bible says profane? It says, Hebrews 12:16, it says, lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright. We know it was red pottage, but it was still that red meat that was uncooked that he sold his birthright for. Going back to the Greek Empire, First Maccabees, first chapter, verse 46, and pollute the sanctuary and holy people. Pollute the sanctuary and holy people. Set up altars and groves and chapels of idols and sacrifice swine's flesh, where the Most High told us we ain't supposed to touch a dead pig carcass, and unclean beasts, right? So we had clean beasts that we sacrificed, when you understand sacrificial law. So this is before Mashiach came in the flesh on the earth. This is what the so-called white man was doing as the king, had us doing. Not only that, tells you, we'll go to 2 Maccabees, the 6th chapter. Hold that. Go to verse 4. It says, for the temple was filled with riot and revelings by the Gentiles. These are the nations outside the 12 tribes of Israel, who dallied with harlots, that's prostitutes, and had to do with women within the circuit of the holy places, having sex up in the temples. And beside that, brought in things that were not lawful, like you say, sacrificing unclean beasts and so forth. The altar also was filled with profane things, see? Any profane person, that's Esau. So the altar was also filled with profane things, which the law forbidded. Listen, neither was it lawful for a man to keep Sabbath days or ancient feasts, the holy convocations or the Sabbath day, weekly Sabbaths, or to profess himself at all to be a Jew. So therefore, that's why when you read the New Testament, you see to the Jew and to the Greek, which are Greek-speaking Jews, Greek-speaking Israelites, following the customs of the Greeks, as it is today. You English-speaking Americans, you Spanish-speaking Americans, or Portuguese-speaking Americans, whatever language you speak, you still following the way of the heathen. If you're not following the way of the Most High, knowing His laws, has come out, His moral laws, civil laws, dietary laws, ceremonial laws, and understand the sacrificial laws, and let your body be a living sacrifice to make it to the kingdom. This is what they did. Going back to 1 Maccabees, first chapter, verse 47. Set up altars and groves. Remember, these are the things that the Most High said destroy. We read that in Deuteronomy 7th chapter. So we way into the Greek Empire now. set up altars and groves and chapels of idols and sacrificed swine's flesh. So you know what the Most High had to go through when he came on this earth. An unclean beast. When the Most High go to the dietary law, Leviticus 11th chapter. Go there. Let's see if we can touch pig like people love. They love their pork. Let's see what the Most High said concerning that. Leviticus 11th chapter. And let's look at verse 7. That's what he told us. And the swine, that's the pig, that hog, y'all love y'all pork chops. And the swine, though he divided the hoof, and be cloven footed, yet he cheweth not the cud, he is unclean to you. Read you again. And the swine, that's that hog, that's that pig, though he divide the hoof, he got to divide the hoof, and be cloven footed, yet he cheweth not the cud. He is unclean to you. Of their flesh shall ye not eat, and their carcass, that's their dead bodies, shall ye not touch. They are unclean to you. So we ain't supposed to be touching a dead pig. That's more than eating it. Thus say the Most High. So you see, go back to 1 Maccabees. I want to still bring something what they did. Verse 48. That they should also leave their children uncircumcised and make their souls abominable with all manner of uncleanness and profanation. You keep hearing that profane because that's Esau. Any profane person as Esau, that's after the fact of the Greek Empire. We're in the Roman Empire, same people, just a different name. To the end, what? To the end of doing all these abominable acts, they might forget the law. So who is this to? When he said in verse 42, and everyone should leave his laws. We the ones that have the laws. We just read it in Psalms 147, 19, 20. Nobody else have no laws. What laws do you have? For the idol of Canaan. Baal. What laws do you have that you really got to look at? You got to be seriously following, like the moral laws and the civil laws and the dietary laws, the ceremonial laws that he gave us as the Israelites. I'm asking, what religion that even exists today is doing that? I ain't got no answer yet. But yet still, y'all say y'all Mashiachim, y'all Christians, y'all not Christ-like. He kept all those laws. He didn't sin. He didn't sin. So how are you like him and you doing whatever you want to do? That's that silver religion. That's that Baal worship. You know. That's following the way of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Look, the whole purpose is what? Verse 49. And you tell me that don't fit right today. To the end they might forget the law. What do I say? We ain't under the law. We Gentiles, the Israelites. I got 104 different identities. I stopped asking people after 104 different identities and witnesses that was so outrageous you wouldn't even believe it. What's your race, brother? And a few sisters during this plight. What's your race? 104? That's a lot of people that's destroyed. That's destroyed. That's why I say. Verse 49, this is the whole purpose. To the end they might forget the law that the Most High just told us he wrote. And change all the ordinances. See, change all the ordinances. And whosoever would not do according to the commandments of the king, he said he should die. Put him to death. In the selfsame matter wrote he to his whole kingdom, and appointed overseers. Don't that sound familiar? That we have overseers in slavery? Overseers over all the people, commanding the cities of Judah, that's us, the Israelites, to sacrifice city by city. Then many of the people were gathered unto them, to wit, everyone that forsook the law, and so they committed evils in the land. Hear that? But you not to follow the Most High's laws, mean you committing evils. That's why the Most High got a controversy with the habits of the earth. Because there's no truth. The laws of the Most High is not being brought about. In what land, if thou might say? That they really, really following the laws of the Most High. Then many of the people were gathered unto them, to wit, every one that forsook the law, those that forgot the Most High's law, and so they committed evils in the land. That's why he say all the sinners of my people gonna die by the sword, who think the evil that can prevail or prevent them from the sword killing them. He said, I'm gonna melt you. Look what we do. And drove the Israelites into secret places. These are catacombs that the Vatican have right now, underground. Miles and miles and miles of land that's underground that we built. Let's just talk about here. And drove the Israelites into secret places, even wheresoever they could flee for security. See? That's that civil religion that we're looking at. Go to Exodus 23 and 20. Exodus 23. 20. So yeah, we got a history. We got a story. The Most High told us, look what he said. Behold, I send an angel before thee to keep thee in the way. This is Mashiach Yahushua, y'all. You know him here? You know him as an angel of the Most High, the top angel of the Most High. To keep thee in the way and to bring thee into the place which I have prepared. Beware of him. Beware of him. He's called to destroy you. He said, beware of him and obey his voice. Provoke him not, for he will not pardon your transgressions, for my name is in him. Yah, ha, what shy. He said his name is in him. But if thou shalt indeed obey his voice and do all that I speak, then I will be an enemy unto thine enemies and an adversary unto thine adversaries. He said he gonna be an enemy to our enemies and an adversary to all our adversaries of these other nations. For mine angel shall go before thee and bring thee in unto the Amorites and the Hittites and the Perizzites and the Canaanites, the Hittites and the Jebusites, and I will cut them off. See? That's the Most High. We read this in Deuteronomy, the 7th chapter, all these nations. Telling us what he gonna do. Let he speak once, say twice. Didn't he say the same thing? Aren't the nations mentioned in verse 1 of Deuteronomy 7? Most High speak once, say twice, man perceive it not. Thou shalt not bow down to their gods, but that's where this bow worship come from the Canaanite god, Baal. Thou shalt not bow down to their gods, which we did, nor serve them, nor do after their works. But thou shalt utterly overthrow them and quite break down their images. And ye shall serve the Most High your power, and he shall bless thy bread and thy water, and I will take sickness away from the midst of thee. So really, we need bread and water, y'all. You need some bread and some water. You get some bread and water, you can make it. That's what he say, go take away our bread and our water. You can get some bread and some water. That's why a lot of times you say when we had company, our forefathers would say, go make some bread. The wife would go make some bread all the time. That's part of our heritage. You live on some bread, you can't live without no water. You got to have that water. But bread and water. There shall nothing cast their young, and nor be barren in thy land. The number of thy days I will fulfill, and I will send my fear before thee, and will destroy all the people to whom thou shalt come, and I will make all thine enemies turn their backs unto thee. That's something. That's the Most High, y'all. This is the Most High said he's gonna do. We just gotta do what he say do. That's all. Simple as that. Easy as that. Then, now, and forever. It's not a hard thing. But what do we do? You know. He said, verse 28, he said, and I will send hornets before thee, which shall drive out the Hivite, the Canaanite, and the Hivite from before thee. You hear this? He said he gonna send these bugs, these these insects. That's Most High's warriors. Hornets, can you imagine that? And they could have been huge. We don't know. But enough of them, I mean, what you gonna do? You steady swinging at hornets. Come on, stinging you. The Most High's warriors. Listen what he said. And I will send hornets before thee, which shall drive out the Hivite, the Canaanites, and the Hivites from before thee. And I will not drive them out from before thee in 1 year. He said, you're going to do it at one time. Lest the land become desolate and the beasts of the field multiply against thee. So he said, hey, he ain't going to do it all at one time, he said. Not in 1 year, by little and little. I will drive them out from before thee until thou be increased and inherit the land. Till you have a lot of children and inherit the land. But during that time of him not driving them out, here we are, we learned the way of the heathen, what they was doing. And I will set thy bounds from the Red Sea. Look how far our land goes. And I will set thy bounds from the Red Sea even unto the sea of the Philistines, and from the desert unto the river. For I will deliver the inhabitants of the land into your hand, and thou shalt drive them out before thee. Thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor with their gods. Excuse me. But this is what we always did. We always made a contract agreement with these nations like it is today. Where your religion come from? Where your religion come from? Who set it up? The Most High? It should be in this Bible. If not, then you better pay attention. Come back to his rules and regulations. They shall not dwell in thy land, lest they make thee sin against me. Over and over again. So when we intermingle ourselves with these nations that's dealing with idolatry, because they don't know the way of the Most High, and the matter of fact, the Most High said in Wisdom of 5:7, he said, this is what they're going to say when salvation, power from authority is coming on this earth for the children of Israel. They're going to say, we wearied ourselves in the way of wickedness and destruction. We have gone through deserts where there lay no way. Even though Mashiach said he's the way, he said, as for the way of the Most High and the Mashiach Yahushua that we talking about here, he said, we have not known it. You better understand and overstand. For real. They shall not dwell in thy land, lest they make thee sin against me. For if thou serve their gods, it will surely be a snare unto thee. And that's what we did. That's what we did. This civil religion, you look at that, go to Leviticus 20th chapter. Found the way of the heathen that don't have the Most High. Because he said in Amos 3:1-2, he said, hear the word that the Most High is speaking to you, O children of Israel. He said, you only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore I will punish you for all your iniquities. He said, you only know us. But we try to include everybody in this. No, this is just for us. That's why I don't understand why why people are wasting their time dealing with trying to teach everybody else, and we don't even know. As a children of Israel, you need to be knowing what this Bible is talking about. Other nations doing what they're supposed to do. They're together. We're not together. Leviticus 20th chapter. Let's start at verse 1. Leviticus 20:1. It says, and the Most High spake unto Moses, saying, again, thou shalt say to the children of Israel, who we are, speaking of us, whosoever he be, of the children of Israel, or of the strangers that sojourn in Israel, that giveth any of his seed unto Molech, he shall surely be put to death. The people of the land shall stone him with stones. See, that's another God. Salaki Most High about so much Molech. You see them burning the children like they got the Bohemian Grove up in northern Israel. What are they sacrificing? People, children, and so forth. You ever look on the walls of Walmart? They have all these people up there say, have you seen me? They used to have them on milk cartons. 2 people. They had flyers, had 2 people. Have you seen me? They sacrificing people. That's part of what they call humanite sacrifices. Come mostly every 13 weeks. You see? When y'all celebrating all these holidays, they sacrificing people to Molech. It's the same, really just change the name. Same thing that they're doing. That's why he said again, thou shalt say to the children of Israel, verse 2, of Leviticus the 20th chapter, whosoever he be of the children of Israel, or of the strangers that sojourn in Israel, that give any of his seed unto Molech, he shall surely be put to death. The people of the land shall stone him with stones. Now, I haven't seen yet where you showed me a picture of Molech wearing a 6-point shield of David, or whatever you want to call it, a snowflake, because all the snowflakes are different shades and different shapes of shield of David, if you want to say it. Nobody showed me this man Molech, or whatever it is, this entity wearing that. But you know, you have all those things going out, therefore they say certain things and people just change up whatever they're dealing with. But you think about a 6-point shield, and you fighting, and you got that shield on your arm, you hit this way, that way, whatever way you hit, that point gonna hit you, gonna get you. Bam, bam, bam. Anyway, let's continue. And I will set my face against that man, and will cut him off from among his people, because he hath given of his seed unto Molech, to devour my sanctuary, and to profane my holy name. Another god, another idol. And if the people of the land do any ways hide their eyes from the man, you gonna hide your eyes from the man that's doing this? When he give of his seed, his children unto Molech, and kill him not. You see him doing it, you know he killing his children, or he killed his children, or a child. Burn them up in the fire to this imaginary nothingness, God, Molech. Then I will set my face against that man and against his family. Not only the man, but his whole family. And will cut him off, and all that go a whoring after him, to commit whoredom with Molech from among their people. And the soul that turneth after such as have familiar spirits. You know what a familiar spirit is? Familiar spirit is somebody that has died, and y'all think that y'all like they got them people that's calling up people that have died back to them. That's familiar spirits. You ain't supposed to be doing that. And such as have familiar spirits, and after wizards, to go a whoring after them, I will even set my face against that soul, and will cut him off from among his people. So sanctify yourselves therefore, and be ye holy, be ye perfect, and holy, and pure, for I am the Most High your power, he said. So now, we still looking at this civil religion, you know. And we sending our children to these schools, mandatory that they program them to be a certain way. Civil religions. Just like he said, hey, everybody gonna be one. You know, and you couldn't circumcise your child, because circumcision, just what you getting, you being circumcised right now, spiritually, if you paying attention. This is a spiritual circumcision. And the physical circumcision of the 8th day, when we circumcised our sons. It was against the law. They made it against the law, so it looked like the heathen. They're not dealing with circumcision. A lot of them, they don't get circumcised. But we as the Israelites, that was a covenant that the Most High made with us, to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. You see? And Jacob being the forefather of the 12 tribes of Israel. I can't say it enough. You learn to say it, you'll see that eliminates a lot of confusion. Because you say, you're dealing with the Most High? Okay, what tribe are you? Or the children of Israel. You say the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. This is my name forever, memorial to all generations. So, if that's who you're talking about, then he's the forefather of the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That's our forefathers. Abraham, what is son named Isaac, what is son named Jacob. Now the Most High allowed Abraham to have Ishmael before Isaac, but the Most High didn't choose Ishmael. He chose Isaac. And Isaac had Jacob and Esau, but he didn't choose Esau. It says, Scripture says he put Esau by, but he chose Jacob. And he changed his name to Israel, and we became the Israelites. Like they the Edomites, and they the Moabites, and they the Ammonites, and they the Ishmaelites, and they the Hamites, and all these ites and so forth. I mean, these are nations that the Most High created. They're still here today. They ain't went nowhere, like we ain't went nowhere. We still here. So like I'm saying, the civil religion, like we sending our children to their schools and understanding, they took the Bible and prayer out of schools. So taking the Bible out of the schools, who you think they left there? Took the Most High of Mashiach Shai out, period. So who they leave there? Satan. Satan. Left Satan there. So you send your children to deal with the devil. Look at 1 Corinthians 10 and 20. You wonder why all these things be happening in the schools. Usually could pray. They had a little morals here in America, but now you can't even pray. I remember they were saying that coach had an assistant coach pray. I think it was in Florida. Had him pray over the food. He got rid of them. Do y'all realize the Satanists have their religion going though? Big time. That's why you gotta be aware and know what time it is and what's going on. 1 Corinthians 10, 20 and 21. It says, but I say that the thing which the Gentiles sacrifice or worship, they sacrifice the devils. Just say the Most High. Read it for yourself. 1 Corinthians 10 and 20 says, but I say that the things which the Gentiles sacrifice, these other nations outside of the 12 tribes of Israel sacrifice, and some of you Israelites that are 2/3, make up the 2/3, you sacrifice the devils too. You the children of the devil. And not to the Most High. Now if you taking the Most High in prayer out of the school, you can't pray to him. So what are the children learning? They're not learning of him. It's against the law to pray. Against the law to read the Bible. It says, but I say that the things which the Gentiles sacrifice or worship, they sacrifice or worship to devils and not to the Most High. And I would not that you should have fellowship with devils. Now you can't just say God and you believing in the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. There are many gods. Matter of fact, Ishmaelites had a God for every day before he learned from the Hebrews, the one and true only power. He said, you cannot drink the cup of the Most High and the cup of devils. You cannot be partakers of the Most High's table and the table of devils. You see, what you gonna do? You gonna choose the Most High, you gonna choose the devil. And devils. That's why myself Shai said we gotta be wise as serpents. Serpents, right? But harmless as a dove. We gotta know what the moves that's making. You dealing with demons in high places. High places. Unseen demons. You don't see them on the scene. They controlling everything. Everybody down there is like a puppet. That's why we rolling with the Most High as a puppet. We rolling with a Mashiach Shai as a puppet as he move his strings and have us maneuver in there. Like he say, he show his secrets to his servants, the prophets. Those that are tuned in to the spirit of the Most High. So the children going to schools, being taught certain things that are, I remember I have a 7th grade history book, and they was teaching on Islam, Moab, and the Buddha and all this. They say, well, why we ain't dealing with King David right here? They wish they had a picture of King David during the time he ruled. It said ancient Israelites, right? They said, oh, no, we're not doing that. They couldn't go there because they already knew. It's like, okay, wow, that's what we were learning. It was right in the 7th grade history book. Oh yeah, I bought that. So I have that in my archives. 'Cause it's right there. King David with an afro, light skin, and all his men with him and so forth. All the angels black, everybody's black. Dark skin, I might say, or people of color. Because he was a light skinned brother. So you see here, this is what we're dealing with. Go to Psalms 105. Psalms 135. I think, let me see. Psalms. That's what I said. We got to look at what we've done and make it the Most High. Psalms 106 and 35. Psalms 106 and 35. And it says, but we're mingled among the heathen. We're mingled among these other nations outside the 12 tribes of Israel and learn their works. That's why you got to look at, understand this. Are you really operating in the customs? Because that's what we read in this Bible, to get back to our custom and know what we did wrong so we can stop doing it and do what's right. Are you getting back to the customs of being an Israelite, or are you just like everybody else? You still a Gentile-minded person, so therefore are you an Israelite or are you a Gentile? Because he said they're going to turn your mind away from following him. So if somebody's coming with their own vain opinion or their own way of thinking and it's contrary to what you have learned in the scriptures, that's why a man got to make the right decision concerning the decision that he make, and making sure that he know these scriptures and go by what it says here and make that decision. Like Adam, he listened to his woman. He said, first thing Most I said, can you listen to your wife, or can you get everything that you need to get from them, men, and then you make a right decision according to thus say the Most High's word in righteousness, or their blood is on your hand. They say, let's look at verse 28. Jump up to verse 28. Psalms 106 and 28. They say, they joined themselves also unto Baal Beor and ate the sacrifices of the dead. Thus they provoked him to anger, provoked the Most High to anger. This is what we did with their inventions. You hear that? We invented new things, inventions, and the plague break in upon them. I'm gonna stop right there because I'm gonna go over that. Gotta come back to that. Jump down to verse 35. But were mingled among the heathen and learned their works, and they served their idols. Hear that? Because all the gods of the nations are idols. It's not going to vary. It's not going to change. And served their idols, which were a snare unto them, a trap. Yeah, they sacrificed their sons and their daughters unto devils, just like we just read in 1 Corinthians, in the New Testament, 10, 20, and 21. Yeah, they sacrificed their sons and their daughters unto devils. Hear that?